101.7 FM, and I'll be welcoming your views shortly here on the show 055111197. I will be taking you back to Parliament for those of you who missed the action in the early part of the day. But in the last few minutes, we're getting confirmation that the Attorney General has filed his own case in the Supreme Court as part of this process that has been filed by the Majority Leader, Afenyo Marking. And we're now reading from the processes he has filed that he is opposed to the Speaker's own determination on this particular matter, vacating the seats of these 4 MPs. And he's very clear on why. And one of the key grounds of this, as far as the Attorney General is concerned, is just to state the point that some had made before. The one, that if you read the Constitution as a whole, both the plain and the contextual examination of same leads to the conclusion that the Constitution intended to deny MPs the right to continue representing their constituents if, in the current term of Parliament, they leave the party of which they were members at the time of election to join another party, or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member. A vacation of seat results, right? And that is the point that has been made too, that filing nominations to contest an upcoming election for a place in a future Parliament does not lead to a vacation of seat. And this is the Attorney General's position on the matter before the courts now. And finally, the filing of nomination by a sitting MP to contest a future parliamentary election on the ticket of a political party when he had been elected for the life of the current Parliament as an independent candidate does not result in a vacation of seat.
Well, if you look at some of the argument in these documents that have now since been filed by the Attorney General, it goes on to say that if you look at the court's original and exclusive jurisdiction, it is the court's original and exclusive jurisdiction to determine the constitutionality of any act or omission by any person in Ghana, and it's not ousted by any law. This is in the exclusive preserve of the Supreme Court. The Attorney General says, irrespective of the circumstance surrounding an action, a genuine case for interpretation of the Constitution correctly invokes the jurisdiction of the court under Articles 2:1 and 131 of the Constitution. In this instant case, and you've gone ahead to raise some of this issue, it goes on to say that Parliament is for a fixed period as determined by the Constitution, and that a proper textual analysis of the Constitution, that is both the plain and contextual examination of same, will lead to the conclusion that the Constitution intended to create a vacancy of seat of an MP if, in the current term of Parliament, the MPs leave the party of which he was a member at the time of election to join another party.
And there's G, which is also a very interesting point that the Attorney General is making about the subject, whether or not Parliament is subject to the Supreme Court or not.
Yes, he says every arm of government or agency of the state, including Parliament, is subject to the Constitution and to the Supreme Court judicial review powers of determining the constitutionality of actions and decisions by that arm or agency. Consequently, an order, decision, ruling, or determination by the Speaker of Parliament in contravention of and or ultra vires of the Constitution will render such an order, decision, ruling, or determination amenable to the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So the AG, they're filing 37 pages at the Supreme Court to insist that the Speaker's determination were wrong, and that they agree with the interpretation, or they agree with the argument that has been made by Alexander Afenyo Marking and his lawyers in court, that the Speaker of Parliament clearly acted in his excess of his powers when he purported to interpret the Constitution, and that is what has been filed. The Supreme Court gave them 7 days. As of Friday, it's only the second day of the new week. The AG has filed a statement of case. That will mean the Speaker of Parliament will have to file his also in 7 days. Then the parties will all file their joint memorandum of issues. Then the Supreme Court will set this case down for hearing, and then we'll finally get to hear from the Supreme Court if they can do this as expeditiously as they promised. Evans.
Okay, and then that obviously is assuming there is no somebody filing another case to review the outcome. We'll watch this space very, very closely. And there was tight security at the Dome at the Accra International Conference Center where today's parliamentary sitting took place. There were multiple layers of security in place, including barricades, checkpoints, and scores of police officers on the ground with access tightly restricted. Even sniffer dogs were deployed today to the precinct of Parliament. You remember Parliament is sitting at the Accra International Conference Center at the Dome. Maxwell Agbagba monitored events outside the chamber and now reports.
There's heavy police presence outside the precincts of Parliament. Members of the public are not allowed within the Accra International Conference Center. Aside from members of Parliament and parliamentary staff, if you're not a journalist, you will not be given access. There are different layers of security here with 2 barricades and checkpoints before you gain access to the Dome where the parliamentary sitting is happening. I've seen members of Parliament park their vehicles in designated areas and walk about 800 meters to get access to the Dome. There are quite a number of police barricades here as well. Earlier, a police crowd control vehicle and a water cannon and armored vehicles were parked here, but they have since been moved. However, I still see quite a number of police officers on site. Director General of Operations for the Ghana Police Service, COP Mohammed Suraji, is also on the ground. The police are making sure that people who have no business here do not get close and they are leaving no stone unturned. Earlier, we saw some supporters of the New Patriotic Party, hundreds of them gathered here within the precincts of the main Parliament House. The police team here managed to send them a bit down the street, about 200 meters away. So when you go 200 meters down the street, directly opposite the Osu Military Cemetery, you find some of the supporters, some of the MPP supporters, clad in party colors, standing there in solidarity with their members of Parliament. Police officers stationed behind the crash barriers and barricades would ask you questions. If your vehicle is not marked, expect more questions.
If you missed it, that's what happened today in Parliament. And in the last couple of hours, we've seen a statement from the Ghana Armed Forces, because today, as we saw some military men, members of the Ghana Armed Forces, on the premises of Parliament today. Some of them had sniffer dogs that they were using to sniff out possible trouble. We have a statement on this. James Abeji joins me in the studio with that.
Yes, Evan. So the Ghana Armed Forces first begin by expressing their concern over some media reports which suggest that the military was deployed to interfere in the proceedings of Parliament, and so went ahead to offer some clarification on what exactly happened. They say that, quote, on Monday, October 21, 2024, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagbin, through the Clerk of Parliament, formally requested security assistance from the Ghana Armed Forces for routine canine and bomb sweeps of the chamber. This standard procedure is conducted on the first sitting day of the week, typically on Tuesdays, whenever members of Parliament convene outside the traditional Parliament House. It is essential to clarify that the Ghana Armed Forces personnel were not present at the Grand Arena to interfere with parliamentary proceedings. Their role was exclusively to conduct these routine sweeps to ensure the safety and security of the facility by checking for any explosive devices or harmful substances. They concluded by giving out their commitment to the welfare and well-being of all citizens, and the fact that they would always undertake assignments which aim at ensuring the security and safety of all and sundry, urging the media to stay away from such misinformation, according to them. So that's containing that statement signed by E. Agri Kwashi, the Brigadier General Director of Public public relations of the Ghana Armed Forces, Evans.
Thank you very much, James. And a few of your messages on our WhatsApp console now. Abuchi Philip from Cater says, in fact, the Speaker of Parliament showed maturity this afternoon. I urge NDC MPs, they should put their foot down to maintain their position. Also, coming in from Boko, Comrade Issa says the National Democratic Congress indeed remains the majority side in Parliament, with Honorable Okesalato Forcing as the majority leader, as per the Speaker's last decision. Musa Abattoir says, I commend the Speaker of Parliament for his bold leadership in upholding the Constitution and standing orders, despite the MPP minorities' walkout and the attempt to create confusion. The Speaker's decisive action has protected the integrity of our democratic process and the rule of law. Hashtag Newsnight. It's now time for sports, and James Ashan is in the studio with business, rather, and Ashan is here with business. I'm looking forward to the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, and so no wonder I was
I'll be representing
business, of course, for sports. What are you participating in? What game is this?
I'm a good football player.
Good football player.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be, we're doing interdepartmental competitions also.
Exactly.
So you're going to come up against me. Which position do you play?
I'm a defender.
Oh, exactly. You're going to come up against the best striker you ever encountered in your
Sure.
playing life, my good self. And so, yeah, you want to meet us there this Saturday. You don't want to miss it. What do you have in the headlines?
Right, so coming up in business this evening, economist Professor Lord Mains fears development in Parliament could heighten investor uncertainty about the economy, and International Monetary Fund pushes for further policy rate hikes to check current inflation levels in Ghana. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. I am James Ishan. Let's settle for the details. First off, economist Professor Lord Mains is worried development in Parliament could heighten investor uncertainty about the direction of the economy. It follows the NDC caucus in Parliament resolved to take over the majority side of Parliament. Professor Mensah says the development breeds more uncertainty about critical regulations that were supposed to be passed by the House and how that could affect current economic recovery.
Parliament plays a major role when it comes to approvals of our expenditure lines and, approvals of some revenue lines and all those. So if it turns up that, as a result of this power shift, things are not being settled, of course, the investor community are going to see it to be more or less a bad signal, which at the end of the day will impede, their decisions as to whether to settle on Ghana or move elsewhere. Under a democratic dispensation, everything has to do with timelines. And we are moving into November, which we have to start concluding on our budget lines for next year. So if this derails, which at the end of the day may, affect, committee composition here and there, it may affect, our budget lines next year. And from there on, the uncertainty continues, I would say.
Professor Lord Mains, as an economist, now the IMF is making a case for further hikes in Bank of Ghana's policy rate to check the high levels of inflation in the country. The central bank at its last meeting in September cut its key lending rate to 27%. This is despite inflation going up marginally to hit 21.4% for the month of September. Speaking at the launch of the World Economic Outlook report in the United States of America, Deputy Director Jean-Marc Netal noted that some actions need to be taken by countries like Ghana.
Inflation stabilizing, in some countries going down and reaching a level close to the target. But half of them are still large distance from the target, and a third of them are still having double-digit inflation. In terms of growth, as Pierre-Olivier mentioned, it's quite uneven, but it remains too low, and the debt service is correspondingly still high in the region. So the challenges are still there. There's been some progress. So in terms of the recommendation, in countries where inflation is very high, you would recommend tight monetary policy, and in some cases, when possible, help by consolidation on the fiscal side.
Jean-Marc Netal, as Deputy Director at the IMF, speaking at the launch of the World Economic Outlook report in Washington, D.C. on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank spring meetings. Now, the Association of Ghana Industries is calling for an improvement in Ghana's macroeconomic indicators. Chief Executive Seth Chumakobwa says this could aid in sustaining the industry sector growth of 8.2% recorded in the second quarter of 2024. Speaking to Joy Business at the Inclusive Business and Green Business Forum, he called for a conducive business environment for small businesses to thrive.
So many factors contribute to it. The key part of it is macroeconomic stability. Normally, what happens is that when we have macroeconomic stability and businesses can predict the business environment in terms of the economic arrangement, it could be exchange rates, it could be inflation, it could be interest rates. If you have it in a certain stable manner, businesses can plan, and on the basis of that plan, they can invest. And as they invest, you see the numbers growing. So it is very important that you have stability, and I can say that if you compare this year to the recent previous years, these years have been reasonably stable until recently that we had a bit of the cedi depreciation coming in a little bit.
Seth Chuma Kobwa is the Chief Executive Officer for the Association of Ghana Industries. Next, an advisor at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Steve Opatas, asserts that the central bank's 6% positive real interest rate is the highest in West Africa, making Ghana's financial market an attractive investment destination. Speaking on the Beyond the Numbers show, he emphasized the country's competitive edge in the region.
Reduced the rates from 29% to 27%. But inflation has also come down. So if you look at, I think inflation just went up a little bit, 21.4. So if you look at the real rates we are offering in our space, it's about what, 6%?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very high. You don't get that in many markets. Actually, if you comb through Africa, you may not even find real rates of 6%. So we believe that if you still invest even in our open market operations or you invest in the T-bill markets, you are being offered positive real rates compared to where inflation is.
Dr. Steve Opata is an advisor at the Bank of Ghana. Finally, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT) has reiterated its ability to pay pension benefits beyond 2036 due to its strong financial performance over the last few years. According to the trust, it has improved in financial performance and increased investment income in order to take care of its future obligations. Speaking at the maiden SNIT symposium in Accra, Chief Actuary at SNIT, Joseph Poku, disclosed that the trust is in position to pay pension benefits. It was responding to an earlier report by the International Labour Organization on the sustainability of the trust.
Something like that in isolation, you take it's a technical report, and those experts here will know that you don't take one aspect of it and then go and run with it, go to town with it and say the scheme is collapsing. Nothing can be further from the truth. So the reports, as I said, is not different from the previous ones. They always come out and they give you suggestions and they give you recommendations, and you work at it. And I've demonstrated to you what we've done so far after the reports have been produced. And that is why we veered off, and we are still in a position to pay you for life. To pay you to 120 years, just like the other pensioner was before he died a couple of weeks ago.
And that's all for business on Newsnight with me, James Ishen. Over to you, Evans.
Thank you very much, James. You're so live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM, and I'll take a few of your messages on our WhatsApp console pretty shortly. At 0551111 is the WhatsApp line. I'm inviting you to send us messages. I will share it pretty shortly. Now, the Public Sector Workers Union has scaled up its fight for better conditions of service with scathing criticism of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission's handling of negotiations for better conditions of service. The strike, which enters day 2, has begun biting at some state agencies. Ghanaians who showed up at the headquarters of the National Identification Authority with hopes of securing their Ghana cards have been left disappointed after they were turned away due to strike by the Public Services Workers Union, of which workers of the NIA are members. Most of them expressed surprise at the strike when they only found out after getting to the NIA headquarters. Listen to some of them.
I just came here just a few minutes ago, but I've seen that a lot of people are standing here, all because there is strike. So my question is the Ghana card, is it good? When it came, is it good or it's not good? Because every transaction you want to do now, they say Ghana card. Realize the case, I came and they said they are on strike. So I don't know what to do. We are stranded here. So we are pleading with the government to do something about it. Because my SIM card, I can't go for the SIM card because they said the Ghana card is damaged. And since it's damaged, I need to do replacement.
Our Ghana card has lost. So we come to renew, take another one. So So they say they are on strike. So that's why we are here right now.
How urgent do you need the card?
You see, we are houseless and we want to take some Okarabi and be riding. And the person say we need Ghana card to guarantee it. And we need the motto. Yesterday we went there and the person say unless we bring the Ghana card.
I'll be going to the university next year, so I'll be needing to fill some forms.
Do you have any other option?
No, so I just have to wait for them to resume.
Well, for the Public Sector Workers Union, they will not call off the strike until government meets their demands. Listen to the Deputy General Secretary of the union, John Ni Donusampa.
So this strike also involves very critical and essential public services. We have Electoral Commission, we have GBC, we have NCC, we have Ghana Atomic Energy, and so many other organizations. It is amazing how the government side, since we gave our notice of industrial action, has not made efforts to resolve this issue. It is not our wish to stay home. We love our job. But the problem is that we cannot be taken for granted why others are given, but we are discriminated against. And so our structures have decided that until the government respond and address our concerns and negotiate and give us an acceptable allowances, also to commensurate whatever is given to other people in the public service, we should not return to work. And that is exactly what is going on. This strike has really affected a lot of organizations. There are a lot of programs that have been cancelled because of it. I know some of the organizations that call me, they have workshops, they have educational programs, they have many other programs that because of this strike.
Well, it appears this will last a while longer because the Director of Grievances and Negotiations at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Professor Charles Adabo-Opon, has been disclosing to us that the Ministry of Finance is yet to give clearance for the payment of some of the funds negotiated with the Public Services Workers Union.
And as part of the normal negotiation procedures, when we agree on some of these things, fair wages is the lead. But in terms of financial, obligations, everything rests with the Ministry of Finance. So we developed the financial, models or scenarios, as we call it, and we submitted to Finance. And we are waiting for the response from the Finance Ministry. Then we continue, of which the leaders are aware.
But the General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union, Bernard J, insists government stalled negotiations, hence their unanimous decision to embark on the strike.
The general decision by the structures of the union, the structures met, and this decision is not my decision sitting in my capacity as General Secretary, but the leadership of the union in all these organizations have agreed that the way they have been treated on issues concerning their salaries, the public sector salaries, and then their institution-specific allowances are not right, and therefore we should proceed on this action until our concerns are addressed.
It's a live your news night. This on Joy 99.7 FM. We are counting down to Saturday, and I found my footballing boots today. I was on the treadmill. I'm getting fit, prepared for that game between ourselves in the Joy newsroom and the sports team. But also, of course, I'm looking forward to playing against any institution because I know many of them have signed up.
Yes.
And I'm going to leading my team members all the way to the final. We're picking up the cup, right?
Absolutely.
How much is on the line?
Absolutely.
We like money.
Absolutely. We've got it. The cash prize will be unveiled on the day. But top striker, multimedia top striker.
Yes.
Evans Mensah.
Yes.
Oh,
AKA Multimedia Pele.
Fantastic. We're just talking about some of the companies that have signed up, and two companies latest to sign up. We interacted with them. First of all, we're going to hear from the team at Premium Health Insurance. And in fact, their CEO is throwing a challenge to Multimedia CEO for the CEO's penalty shootout. And he says that he's ready to defeat Mr. Ken Ansah. So let's listen to Premium Health Insurance ahead of Saturday.
And this time we are going to win. We are bringing the trophy home. I must say that I'm aiming at getting your CEO, Ken. to come for the penalties. Oh, we will beat him. As for the football, it's done deal. We will go ahead, and with the volley and others, we will try, and but we don't know how to play chess, so we will leave that one to them. The rest, we are taking everything.
Chess, you don't do chess?
No, we don't do. You see, chess is for Dadama. We are not Dadama here.
So that's the team. That's the team at the Premier Health Insurance. So I'm not sure he can challenge Mr. Ken on penalty. He's really fit. We've been training him. He's been at the Emirates getting ready for it. But now let's go to ARB Apex Bank, because today we also interacted with them, and for them, they say they are ready to win all the trophies as they come Saturday at the University of Ghana Stadium.
And sincere apologies. I understand that we hear it in the studio, but you may not be hearing it. But the point is that these institutions are ready.
They are super ready. I mean, Premium Health Insurance, ARB Apex Bank, super ready. And
they should bring some money, but so the extra money, extra motivation, because everybody wants to play them. The banks in particular, they should motivate.
They have to.
If they believe in themselves, all they need to do is to come and put some money aside, and then you can also play when you finish.
I've heard a few other banks, at least about 3 other banks, have decided to do a late registration, very late registration. So tomorrow I'm sure we'll be hearing from them. But the event is on Saturday at the University of Ghana Stadium, 9 a.m. sharp. Host about 15 sports and disciplines will be taking place. So I'm sure the draw is going to happen on Thursday. The draw will happen on Thursday. So if you want to do a last minute registration, why not call the Joe FM front desk or head to my Joe online and get the details there. But Ivan's top striker, today we have training, right? We have training.
I did it in the morning, but I don't mind. When Ten Hag took over, what he used to do was to train them twice a day. We want to get fit. I don't mind. I mean,
okay, you got PM Express because the train is at 8. So
I train
no problem. We'll meet in the morning. We'll meet in the morning on the Astro.
We're looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see that.
I'm licking my lips. I'm going to see you on the field.
The team on gigs are also around. They're going to be around.
Yes.
Lime spoon swimming and all of that.
They'll be calculating the.
Understand MFI is doing swimming, right?
Yeah, MFI is doing swimming.
Amazing.
The thing about it, though, we need about 15 lifeguards. All round, because...
all right, we'll work on that. All right, that's Super Sports, Ivan.
By the way, this is your election headquarters.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants (CIMA) and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants (AICPA), together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development, and Syntex Tanks. A year strong, a year tough.
And I take you to the Volta region, where you will find Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. He's been challenging the NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama to produce the previous government's programs aimed at improving lives of ordinary Ghanaians. According to him, the NPP has rolled out at least 33 programs aimed at improving the lives of ordinary Ghanaians, reasoning the NPP should be voted back into power.
Two people who are at the forefront trying to be president of this country. It's myself and the former president. We are the two people who are trying to be. The former president has been president before. You have seen all the work that he did. He was vice president and he was president. And if you ask him to mention one policy that he has brought to benefit all Ghanaians, he'll find it difficult to mention one, just one. But he has been president before. Just one policy. If you ask me as a vice president what policies I've brought to benefit Ghanaians, I can mention 33 policies that I have brought to benefit Ghanaians that are working. So if you look at the two of us, you have to make one choice. He, the former president, can only be president for 4 years. So when we vote for him, we may not see him back in Adaklu again to give an account for his work. But when you vote for me, I will come and account for you in 4 years' time. I will be back to say, this is what I have done for the people of Adaklu. And if you are satisfied, you will say, thank you, Dr. Baumia. Continue and continue and continue. Let's make history. We've never voted for an NPP MP in Adaklu. Let's make history. Let's vote for Benjamin and vote for Baumia. We are all number one on the ballot. Let's transform Ghana. Let's do something new. It is possible.
Benjamin and Baumia, the BB team there. The NDC presidential candidate John Mahama has wrapped up his tour of the Greater Accra region, where he's been promising to modernize key markets across Ghana under the party's market enhancement program. Maxwell has more.
The NDC presidential candidate John Mahama visited the Tema West, Lejukuku and Okaikwe South constituencies. John Mahama says the NDC's market enhancement program will improve the state of all of Ghana's markets.
We're going to do what we call the market enhancement program. Everywhere there's a market, we'll engineer it properly, build it nicely, pave the floor so that when it rains, you don't have to walk in mud to enter the market. We have to make the markets enticing so that you're happy to go there and buy. The other time, I said that if you wanted to be a baker, we'll help you with the equipment. The
other time, I said we were going to help small businesses to grow. If you want to be a baker, we'll support you with the flour, money and everything you need. And I said those who want to start a poultry farm, we will help them with the hen coop and the chicks and the money to take care of the chicks. When they grow and lay eggs, they will make money when they sell the eggs and the fowl. Our friends in the NPP have done an advert mocking what I said, but they did not know even advanced countries reached that status through small and medium enterprises. The successful businessmen you see here in Ghana all started small. We are not shy to say we will help small and medium enterprises. Small and medium enterprises, this is your government.
24-hour economy no. But see I'm so a human kitten and peja on my name kobibia. And here we value the small and medium enterprises. And we're going to help the business people in the small and medium enterprise sector to be able to grow their businesses.
And Adobia is joining me pretty shortly with Geek Squad, and we've been talking about the NSMQ. Adobia, I know I've been teasing you quite often on this particular subject, but you are not alone when it comes to your inability to embrace your school when it comes to the National Science and Maths quiz. As of tonight, at Disadel College, Kumasi High School, Senyani SHS, and the Ghana SHS Tamale, they were once crowned the regional champions. They've all been knocked out. And it's proving that even the strongest giants can stumble. Let's get a wrap quickly of those falling by the wayside at this stage.
Intensity has soared as 27 schools have already clinched their places in the National Science and Maths Quiz quarterfinals. The fall of some regional champions has sent shockwaves through the quiz fraternity. At Disadel College saw their stripes fade at the crucial stage, leaving many fans in disbelief.
It has been a very competitive contest. At Disadel College, unfortunately, the journey ends for you here.
I'm short of words because this is not really what we expected.
What should you expect from Disadel?
No, nothing but the best.
Kumasi High School, Sunyani SHS, Ghana SHS Tamale also couldn't rise to the occasion, bowing out after a fierce competition. But it's not over yet. 27 schools are set to lock horns in the quarterfinal stage for the remaining 9 coveted semi-final slots. Only the sharpest minds will advance. After all, it's the science and math survival of the fittest. So while some giants have fallen, who will outwit and claim the remaining spot in the semi-final stage? For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansama Yeboah.
For those of you who didn't participate at all, like the school that I know Adobia is proud about, it's okay. At least even those who tried to participate didn't go anywhere. Adobia, what's up for Geek Squad?
No comments on that.
I know you won't comment. It's fine. What's happening in Geek Squad tonight?
What would you do if you searched your name online and realized that there's a Facebook account created with your picture and everything, but you are not the one who created it?
I think I may contact you to see how I can file a report that gets Facebook to pull it down.
Yeah, so that's what we are discussing this evening: online identity theft. We'd like to empower listeners to know what they can do in such cases and even how to detect them.
Okay, you want to stick and stay.